it's May 9th, 2005, and welcome to Up in the Valley.
Yes, welcome everybody.
How are you doing today, Carol?
I'm fine, and I hope that everybody out there had a fantastic weekend, even though it was a little on the rainy side.
Yeah,
There was
there was
still
some
so
nice
many
spots.
things to do.
Nice spots.
Yep.
Did we do any of the things that we said we were going to do this weekend?
We did some of the things we said we were going to do. We had a really good time. We got to see grandkids and family and have a picnic, and it was a really good
It
time.
was a nice Mother's Day.
Yes, it was.
We
hope everybody-
Most of our kids came to celebrate Mother's Day with
Yep.
you.
Yeah, we hope everybody else had a good weekend too. Want to say a special hi today to Bobby and Al. Hi guys, how are you doing? Another thing that was going on this weekend too, Philip Johnson broke a record. Well, actually didn't break a record. He broke a brick.
He broke bricks for bucks.
He broke bricks for bucks. He
Say that 3 times fast.
No, not tonight. I won't. It's getting late. Anyway, 220 bricks exactly, and they were 1 inch and 5/8. It's like that much.
Oh, my word.
With his hand, it was.
1 inch and 5/8, about like that.
Oh my stars! It was huge. He's from One Tree Martial Arts, and they did this to raise money for the Hope Gospel Mission, and they raised more than $1,000. And they were, you know where they were? They were at the Family Christian Bookstore outside there, and they were just like
Breaking
that.
bricks.
Breaking bricks.
Bricks for bucks.
Bricks for bucks.
I think it's neat. The different spins are coming up on different things
Yeah.
because it's walking and running.
Yep.
And they had the 2 mile high thing.
Yes.
Was that last week or a couple weeks? Weekend before
Yes.
last
Yeah.
to raise money for it was sexual assault awareness.
Yep, they jumped out of
Day.
planes.
Jumped out of planes.
Very good.
Now we're breaking bricks for bucks.
That's a good thing. That's a
Hey,
good
who's
thing.
our sponsors today?
Our sponsors today are Brent Douglas, who gives us this wonderful sunshine. His store is down on the corner.
Dewey and Wisconsin.
Dewey in Wisconsin. Hey,
And,
Brent, how you doing?
Yep, Brent does a great job.
Yes,
So
he
if you want
does.
to be a hero to your honey, stop down to
Ah,
Brent Douglas and he'll
Yeah.
fix you up.
or anybody. You know, be nice to a neighbor or something.
And
you
who
know?
else?
The only pizza that I like, Sammy's Pizza.
And why are you showing those certificates?
I'm showing these certificates. I have 2. Here, you hold one and I'll hold one.
Okay.
So if 2 different people would like to get a gift certificate for $5 for Sammy's Pizza, they can call today, 839-5067, and you will win a gift certificate for Sammy's Pizza.
So the first 2 callers.
Yep.
Is that
They-
how we're doing that?
That's how we're doing that. You know, Sammy's is in 2 locations. They have 1 location that's downtown, and they have 1 location that's on London Road.
You know, and I hadn't thought about that for a while, and here it was like, what, 2 or 3 blocks away from where we lived?
Yeah,
And
and we went there all the time.
Yeah, it was all of a sudden.
Maybe it's good we didn't find out.
Right.
Get
But,
well, Norma. There.
Oh, did you say hi to Norma?
Yep. Hi, Norma.
That was Bill.
Yeah, right.
Out there.
Very good. And the Sammy's Pizza up on London Road, it's just a fantastic place, and I got to tell you a quick little story about that.
Okay.
I have some friends that I've known my whole life, over 40 years, and my one friend had a little sister, 3 years old, and she became an artist. Her name is Janet Madison Price, and she's a renowned artist from La Crosse, and she has painted the most beautiful, how do you say it?
Muriel?
Is it Muriel? I thought that was a girl's name.
Muriel?
Mural.
Mural.
Yeah, mural. Thank you.
Isn't
On
that
the
nice?
wall.
Isn't
It's
that
the
nice
whole-
to have help here?
Yes,
I mean, these
thanks,
people are
Greg.
multi-talented.
Multi-talented. Anyway, it's on the whole 1 wall so far at the Sammy's that's at London Road. So if you're one of the lucky people that gets this, go up to the London Road, have the lunch buffet. It's soup, it's salad, it's pizza, it's pasta, it's wonderful. You know, here's $5 towards it, and it's only like
I
so
can't remember.
much.
Yeah, so
But it's
much.
not very much, like
Right.
maybe 6 or so, something like that. I don't know. Well, it's something, and it's not much.
Okay.
And then you can enjoy the wall, and she's
Yeah, it's
coming up this
beautiful.
next week to paint the other side
Oh,
all
is
the way
she
down.
really?
Yes,
Oh,
she
they're
is.
gonna have both
It's
sides.
going to look like an Italian villa.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yep.
So what else is going on? What's coming up in the valley that's going to be interesting?
What do you know?
Not much. You?
Well, Michael Feldman knows a lot because he has the What Do You Know show, and it's coming right downtown to the State Theater. Is
I've
that where it
listened.
is?
I've listened to that program on and off for years, and I mean that's the kind of show where you drive into your driveway,
Yeah.
and you got
You
the
have to sit
radio
there.
on, and you want to go inside the house, but you can't because you
Can't.
got to sit out in the car
To
and
finish hearing what
finish
he's listening,
listening to
yeah.
it. And they're going to be here on the 21st, and we got tickets.
And we've got tickets. So we'll find out what we know or don't know.
But great show. That's going to be very good.
And I want to remind people again, the Eau Claire Rally for Life is
Relay.
Relay for Life is June 10th through Saturday the 11th. It starts at 6 o'clock at night and ends 9 o'clock in the morning. It's an all-day event, you know. It's for the American Cancer Society.
And this is kind of short notice, but if you happen to be fired up and want to learn more or get involved in community awareness for I can't say the whole word.
Methamphetamine, I can say that one.
That's very good. I can't. But meth, and it's nasty stuff, and it's gonna really it's hurting the fabric of our
Yes.
society, and it's nothing that we're escaping here in this little Midwestern area that we're in. So there's an event going on. In fact, it's already started. It's going to be going until 8 o'clock tonight at the Heidi Center up in Chippewa, from 4 to 8. So drop in there if you get
Yes.
a chance and learn more about
That's right.
about the drug and about the ways to combat.
Very good.
What else?
Women's Business Resource Fair, Wednesday, May 18th at the Plaza Hotel and Suites on Claremont Avenue. That's Wednesday, and they'll have all sorts of different things. It's 12 educational breakout sessions and 3 roundtable sessions, and there's so much going on. It's just a lot.
Western Dairyland is the main sponsor of that with the Small Business
Right.
Association.
And there's a
Association or administration? Small Business Administration.
and there's going to
I'm
be
glad
a,
I got all these people here to help me out.
Thank
'cause
you.
I struggle.
and there's going to be a vendors marketplace, and there's still exhibitor and vendor space available. So you can call Christina at area code 715-836-7511, and that's extension 175.
And I went to a starting your business type seminar down there a couple of years ago, and it was very interesting, very well done, and
Very good,
they do a lot of neat things, Western Dairyland.
Yeah, you can call Christina. Let me give you that number again. If you're interested in going to participate in the business fair, or if you're a vendor and whatever, it's 836-7511, and that's extension 175.
Go ahead.
Susical is coming to town. I just had to say that. Susical the musical. That's, Dr. Seuss, the Cat in the Hat.
Well, I could tell by the hat. The
Yep.
look on the hat.
Yep.
I could tell that's
June
what it was about.
22nd through the 25th at the State Theater.
Now, would that just be for little kids, or do you think?
No, I'm going.
Like I said, would that just be for little kids?
Now, if you need tickets, you can call 839-8877. Tickets are only $8 and youth is $12.
Yeah,
No,
that's right.
$8 for youth and $12 for adults.
It was just like a couple weeks ago or so that they had the auditions for that, didn't
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be so neat. It's just going to be so neat.
they? And just before the show, Joel gave me a whole bunch of good information on stuff that's coming up at the library
Oh, great.
this
I
summer.
love the library.
And I haven't really had a chance to study it, so I wouldn't be doing much justice by reading it off. But
Go for it.
But it made me think about something else for people to do here in the Chippewa Valley this
Visit
summer.
your library.
The summer brings a lot of things.
Especially if you're tight on money and you really can't go anywhere. Nothing more than going to the library and getting a good book, and you can just go anywhere you want to go.
So there's tons of stuff, and I will just start incorporating those events into the things that we
Very
talked
good.
about that are
Sure.
coming up. That was one of the
Love the
things I
library.
just kind of
Lots of
missed,
things
is
going
getting the scoop on that.
Very good.
I think we're going to just go ahead and go to the break.
Okay.
And then when we come back, our guest today is Judy Mosley with the Bolton Refuge House. We'll have an interview with her, and we'll be right back.
Thanks.
At the heart of every great community is communication.
When service organizations or nonprofit groups need to reach out to the Chippewa Valley,
Community television is here to help.
When you need to know what your government is doing and want to make your voice heard, you need community television.
Your friends and neighbors have information, expertise, and talent.
Community television has the audience.
Community television, cable channels 11 and 12, local television, available only on Charter Cable.
Welcome back. Our guest today on today's show is Judy Mosley with the Bolton Refuge House. And Judy, what is your title again? I can't remember.
Well, you know, one of the things that advocates...
Your problem is you do too many different things down there, so I wouldn't even want to hazard a guess,
What
actually.
we say is that as advocates, we don't make a lot of money, but we have really great titles. So my title is currently Sexual Assault Victim Services Coordinator.
Boy, now that would take up a whole business card if you printed it.
Generally,
in
when
very
I
big
go on
font.
TV, I tell people just put advocate.
Advocate, that's a good thing. So, for viewers that might not know, why don't we just talk a little bit about the history of the Bolton House? How long has the Bolton House been around?
Darn near forever.
Well, that's a long time.
Bolton Refuge House sprang from the womb of the Women's Community Center here in Eau Claire. And that agency started in 1977 with a group of women here who really wanted to focus on women's issues and provide more opportunities and resources for women in the Chippewa Valley. One of the things that they found really fast was a big concern for women was safety. They wanted to be safe in their own homes and in their own communities. And so almost right from the very first day, the Women's Community Center was asked for a lot of programs having to do with domestic violence and sexual assault. A few years later, money actually started coming in to provide that sort of programming. And in 1979, the Refuge House Project was started.
The name Bolton Refuge House, where did that come from?
Well, it was the Refuge House Project up until 1983, and the Board of Directors decided to change the name slightly and to add Bolton to honor a local law enforcement officer who lost his life when he responded to a call to the shelter to protect a victim that was there at the shelter.
For people that, let's just split it up into two different categories here.
Mm-hmm.
What people might be the people that would be in need of your services down there?
We provide services to anybody who is a victim of domestic violence or a victim of sexual assault. Now, we do have a service area that covers most of west central Wisconsin. It's Eau Claire and Chippewa counties, as well as Jackson, Buffalo, Trempealeau, Clark, and there might be a few other little spots in there that I missed, but you get the idea. You know, the Eau Claire area.
The greater metropolitan area.
But we do provide services for, you know, quite a few counties around us that don't, they might have a domestic violence agency or they might have a rape crisis hotline, but they don't have a shelter facility. And so in those counties, they'll send people who need shelter to us.
Yeah, because that's, you know, I mean, you can have all the programs you want, but you actually have to have a refuge.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to protect people in their time of need like that.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting that in 1979, when we started, there was only 10 shelters in the United States. We were the first one in the state of Wisconsin. And now there's about 10,000 shelters in the United States. That sounds like a huge number, but there's 50,000 counties.
Yeah, that's right.
So what we see here is what's reflected around the nation, about one shelter for every 5 counties.
So how do you, is it set up so that a person can safely contact you guys if,
Yep.
if they got a need?
You know, we used to be very, very secretive about our location, and what we found out was that the bad guys could find us, but the people who really needed us sometimes had a hard time doing that. So what we did was we've really gone to a system where we don't publish where we are, and yet we don't hide it either. You know, we try to make sure that our neighbors know where we're at and what we're doing, because our neighbors are some of our very best security systems. They are very supportive of all of our facilities and really help us out a lot. But as a general rule, those people who come to us for shelter or for emergency services usually just call our hotline, which, by the way, is 1-800-252-HELP.
Well, that's an easy one to remember.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Now, the flip side is, what about if someone is looking for a way to help? What can they
They
do?
can call the same number.
Help.
Yeah.
I'll help.
Then they're giving help instead of asking for help. And we do utilize community volunteers. Time is something that everybody has a little bit of. Most of us don't have a lot of it. But, you know, a few hours here and there can make all the difference. And some of the things that volunteers do at the shelter and at some of our other locations is everything from, you know, filing and organizing an office to translation services for an immigrant victim, or, you know, just sitting and listening, playing with the kids. Being there is really very
Yeah, and
important.
typically, those are the things that you depend on volunteers to accomplish, too.
We would not be able to exist. Literally, we could not exist if it weren't for volunteers in this community.
Well, Judy, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Anytime.
I came on the show with such a long notice. I think I gave you several hours' notice.
Which is probably better. You don't have time to get nervous then.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and I'm glad that you had a chance to take another effort at getting some information out to
You
the
betcha.
community. We're going to go to a break, and then Carol and I will be back to wrap up the show.
Stay connected with your community.
Watch the Eau Claire School Board Tuesdays at 1 p.m. and Wednesdays at 8 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Only on Community Television, Government Channel 12.
Welcome back.
we
That
go.
was an interesting interview with
That is very
Judy.
good.
We appreciate her coming on.
Yes.
Very, very necessary and needed service, and we appreciate all that Judy and
Yes.
all the rest of the staff and volunteers do at the Bolton Refuge House.
Yes, it's very good.
So, Carol, now that you've been taking all this time studying up on what's coming up on the channel, why don't you go ahead and tell us?
Okay, Modern Blues is on tonight at 11 o'clock. I know that, and I love Modern Blues.
Well, that's Craig Barr, and he used to do a lot of shows years back, and kind of was gone for a while, and he's back.
Well, good.
So what
And
else
Dick
is going on?
Tracy's on at midnight tonight.
Dick Tracy, that must be one of those old, what do they call those? Public
An old,
domain?
oh yes,
Public
an old
domain
movie,
movies?
an old movie.
That's going
And-
backwards.
Yeah, that's, but you know, you can figure out. Seeing as how it's Monday, there's always lots of neat things that are on.
Sure, you
I
got-
know the Potpourri of Crafts is on at 6:30
That's,
with Mickey Foster
there you go, there you go.
and technical, the Chippewa
But-
Valley Technical College
Right,
at 7.
people may not realize that, but,
Don't they like have?
They take over the
They take
channel.
over the whole channel.
for a period of time, like
Oh,
it's
right,
7.
for 1 hour.
Yeah, for an hour tonight, but that's, some people may not realize that there's that little spot of time that the technical
Right.
college has
And
on it.
we'll be in reruns tomorrow morning at 11.
So they can watch us if they missed us this
Yeah.
time.
And I know Rising Star is always Tuesday nights, and I like to watch that.
Well, that's a good show, and,
What do you have, Mike?
well, let's see, I spent about the same amount of time studying, and, except I'm a little more familiar with the
Yes, you
programming
are,
down
seeing as
here,
how you work right
since I
here.
work here. But Joel and I, Thursday night, went to Cornell.
That's
And we
right.
taped the meeting of the Chippewa Valley cities, which
Oh,
was
my.
very fascinating. We got to meet a lot of people we already knew, but we got to meet a lot of other people from Cornell, Cadott, Durand, Mondovi,
How many were there?
Menominee. How many people were there, Joel? Do you have any idea? 50? 40, 50 people,
Very
something like
good.
that. And it was very interesting. Pat Kreitlow, the soon-to-be retired anchor from Channel 13,
Mm-hmm.
and Mark Gunderman from the Chippewa Herald was there.
Very good.
And the Cornell paper editor, but I can't think of his name.
The Cornell paper editor, very good.
Right. He was the star of the show, anyway. But anyway, they had kind of they each gave a talk and had a panel discussion, took questions from the audience. We were there, we taped it, and it's playing tonight at 10:30. So
Very
after you get
good.
done watching the news tonight, you can flip it over to Channel 12 and
12.
watch a meeting of the Chippewa Valley cities. And then tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, Vets Remember, Craig Yamauchi, which is standing right behind camera 3 here, does that show. And that's a Vets Remember show to highlight what the vets have done.
Very good.
But Carol, you know what?
I give up.
We're out of time.
No way.
Time's up. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.
Catch us on the reruns, and otherwise we'll see you again live Thursday at 11 a.m.
Bye-bye.